Hello, welcome back to my channel. So the other day I acquired this beauty. It's a chamber pot, or as my husband likes to call it, a gazunder, because it goes under the bed. And I acquired this beautiful vintage piece. I've cleaned it out, of course, because I think it possibly was used. And I've had my husband drill holes in it. The reason being is I want to turn this into a beautiful succulent planter. So as you can see, this is not the first time I've done this kind of thing. To give you an example, this was our old terrine. And it's amazing when we do artisan markets how many people say that they know that their grandmother had this exact set. But it's an over produced thing. There's literally thousands and thousands of these at car boots up and down the country that never really get a decent home. So I felt that throw the lid away, drill some holes, fill it with these beautiful succulents. So I've got a variety of succulents in here. So it gives you an idea of what you need for your succulent planter should you decide to do it. You need a good well-draining soil, which I'll show you in a minute. You need your succulents, of course. Succulents, by the way, don't mind being shoved in all together in a pot. They like to be confined, so these are all happy together. And you want something that's going to drape at the front, something that fills in, and something to give it a bit of height at the back. I think Alan Titchmarsh says you need a thriller, a filler, and a spiller. So, and then the other thing you want is some good top dressing, whether it's pebbles or stones or sand even, or crushed shells, anything like that, that will just keep the damp soil away from the bottom leaves of your succulent, because succulents don't like to sit on damp soil. Their leaves, bottom leaves will rot, and that in turn can cause many other problems. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got this little mesh circle. You could put anything at the bottom there. You could even put broken tiles, or you could put gravel or anything, but you just want to stop the soil from falling into those holes and blocking them a little bit. So you want them to stay free so that the water can drain away. And this is my potting mix here. Now what I do is I get a normal house plant potting mix, and you do want a house plant potting mix. Don't use the outdoor one. It's much too loamy and it holds on to too much water for succulents liking. And this has got added coco coir in it, and add perlite and grit, just so that it makes it a lot more loose and airy, because succulents, like I say, they don't want the soil to hold on to too much water. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the bottom of this chamber pot here. And you want to fill it probably about 2/3 of the way, or about an inch from the top, because obviously we've still got to fit our succulents in there. And as this pot is a bit rounded at the base, you want to make sure all the soil goes underneath that little lip, because otherwise what will happen is when you water your succulents in, all the soil will sink, and then your succulents will sink into the bottom, so we don't want that. So this is about right here. I'm just going to press this down a little bit. And now I'm going to show you the succulents that I have chosen for this particular project. So now we come to the fun bit, and that's the succulents, the part that I really love. So first of all, to give it a bit of height at the back, I'm going to put in this Crassula Gollum. It's quite an easy to get hold of plant. It grows taller, can grow bushier, it depends how you prune it. but it's a statement piece, all right. And this is called Crassula Gollum, aka Shrek's ears. And the reason being is, as you can see by the tubular shape of the leaves here, it does indeed resemble Shrek's ears. So that's Crassula Gollum. Quite easy to care for, very drought tolerant. So that'll be nice at the back to give it a bit of height. Then to fill in, to be the center stage, is this Echeveria Dark Night. Now this is a real beauty. Very, very drought tolerant, so you don't want to water this too much. Any of these plants, by the way, need very little watering. The beauty about this one is the more sunlight it gets, the darker it gets. So this can actually, in good sunlight, can get almost black in color, which will really, really stand out and be quite a feature. We've got a bit of rain coming, which is really a bit of a pain because I've been waiting to do my washing and hang it out all week. I'm not going to race to get it in because I think this will blow over soon. The other Echeveria that I'm going to put in there, now this is called Echeveria Scorpio. Now this is really a more, what would you say, it's an Echeveria that splits and has pups coming out at every single space that it can. So it actually spreads very prolifically, not quite the same as the other Echeveria that will just grow upwards and bushier. They might have ones that come out the side, but what they do is they might shed a leaf, or a leaf might break up, and then that will become a pup. Whereas this will, similar to how sempervivums do this, actually shoots out pups to the side. And in fact, if I was to remove any of these leaves out the side, a little pup would grow in its place out of the actual plant. This is a beauty I've picked out because it's flowering. So when this flowers, it will add that extra dynamic to the display. Now to fill in between them, I've got this is Sedum Adolphi. Now this in the sunlight will go almost sunset orange. Excuse me. And as you can see, along the edges is getting very pink. So that deepens the more light it gets, and this can look absolutely stunning. Now this will pop babies and drape over the side, and these can look stunning when you let them do what they do, which is to just spread and tumble over things. In nature, they would just tumble over the rocks, and then would seed, throw their leaves wherever they go to grow more. So let them do what they want to do. Here's another Echeveria. This is Cubic Frost. Now the reason I chose it, other than this extraordinary shape of their leaves, which is almost like a paddle, but the color of the Cubic Frost against this dark night, can you see how beautiful that is? And then I've picked out the gray from this and the red from the dark night in this gorgeous, this is also Crassula, believe it or not. This is called Perforata Azul. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's got this lovely jadey green, almost silvery leaf, and then it's got this beautiful pink edging. And this again will grow tall at the back, but it'll also start to tumble over the sides. And then last but no means least, I've got two sedums here. This is called Watch Chain, and this is called Cape Blanco. Now Cape Blanco will stay relatively low, but it'll cascade over the edge of the pot. And then this Watch Chain, I don't know the actual botanical name, but it's affectionately called Watch Chain. I thought this shape of these leaves and this, it's so easy to grow this. You just snap a piece off, put it on the soil, grow. But the shape of these resembles the shape of this type of detailing in the pot there. So that's why I've chosen that. So I'm going to put all of these together, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. Now, so that it's not looking all flat, you want to be able to see it front on. So I'm going to put the succulents at a little bit of an angle. And so I'm going to scooch some of the soil up there to the edge so that this can rest on the side, and then I'm going to backfill up and around this Echeveria. Because this is going to be the center of attention, this little lady. And then likewise, I've got the Cape Blanco here. Now see how fine those roots are, and they're very shallow. So if you're not careful, this can actually fall apart. But I'm going to scooch that soil right up so that it's tucked in next to this Echeveria. And you can see the color difference already, how the Cape Blanco against this dark Echeveria, how it really lifts out the colors in the Echeveria. Now I'm going to put this cubic frost to my left or your right of this Echeveria. And I'm going to put a bit more soil in because I need to create height at the back here. Right. So this Echeveria Scorpio is in great, nice sandy soil here. Let's see. I might actually split this if I can. No, I don't want to break it. I'm going to pop that in there. There we go. Right. Then these will go in the back here because they will grow taller. So I'm going to put both these Crassula Perforata. Let me just move that forward so you can see it better. Right. So I'm going to put these Perforata at the back here. That's one. That's another. I definitely need a bit more soil. And then, let me see. Tuck a bit of this watch chain. Now the watch chain I can split easily. So I'm going to put a bit there and a bit there. It'll just fill in some of the gaps here and there. A little bit of that. And put that in here. It'll just be in between. I don't know if I'm going to put this guy in there. I'm going to see. So I've got this piece of driftwood here. As you can see, I have used it for a previous display, but it'll work perfectly here. Now, the reason I'm using this is if I turn this round, you can see that the root ball of these is very much up in the air. It has to be so that you get a good visual from the front. But we want to create a barrier. So I think that in there, then I can fill that with soil and we've got space for our Crassula, and you'll get a better effect from the front, and it'll hold the soil in there and protect those roots from those plants at the back there. So let me get some more soil. So we'll take our Crassula Gollum. Oh, will you believe it? The rain's coming again. And we'll just put him in the back there. And this bit of wood is going to hold him in place like that. And I'm going to fill this at the back here, right up and to the edge. And then this will just nestle in there nicely. So if I turn this around, you can see that that is holding that in place. But the front of it looks gorgeous like that. So when it comes to watering your succulent display, you don't want to get water on the leaves. So I recommend you invest in one of these little bottles. They're really cheap, easy to get. I think they have them on Amazon for a couple of quid. And they're worthwhile getting around because they allow you to squeeze the water out, but you can direct it exactly where you want it. Alternatively, if you don't have one of those, you get just your normal watering can, but get a funnel. I've got one here. You can get a cheap plastic one for, again, really cheaply. They're readily available at any grocery store, at your local home bargains, anything like that. Any funnel will do, but it allows you to direct the water exactly where you want it. So you can put the funnel between the plants and you can direct the water down onto your succulent display. So now it comes to the finishing touches. Now I've got a bit of top dressing here. These are just stone chips. They're usually for aquariums. You can get them in all kinds of sizes, shapes, colors. You just type in aquarium, gravel, or top dressing, or whatever. So this just finishes off. You put these under each succulent, wherever you can get. If it's on the side, you just tap it in so that it holds nicely there. And try and get it underneath the leaves, so you can lift your succulents slightly, move them gently out of the way, and then just move the stone, underneath to just protect your succulent from the soil. It also finishes it off nicely. There we are. We're done. Another beautiful display. You've got all these gorgeous succulents shown to their best advantage, and at the back looks neat and tidy, but you can admire them. Whereas if you did it flat, you would only see them if you were looking over the top of them. So if you wanted to put this on a sideboard or in your garden, you want to be able to see them from all angles. So these at the back here, these will all grow taller. These at the front here will fall over. And like I say, even though they're all tucked in quite tight and snug, they'll be happy like that. It also means they won't grow too big too fast. This will remain quite nice and compact like this for over a year before you have to repot anything. And I'd like to say thank you for joining me and good luck with putting your own little succulent garden together. Bye.